My beloved child, stop and give your full attention. For what I am placing before you now may profoundly influence the next direction of your life. Do not turn away simply because you have grown accustomed to passing over reminders. And do not allow the noise of ordinary life to pull you back into distraction. The stirring rising within your heart has not appeared without reason. It is an invitation to return to the awareness you have lost amid countless worries, responsibilities, and seasons of exhaustion. I have not come to frighten you, nor do I want you to live under the obsession that you will be punished if you take one step too slowly. I only want you to understand that certain moments must be received with your whole presence. Because if you continue postponing them, you may gradually move yourself farther from the goodness that is already drawing near. This moment is not a door closing in threat. It is a door opening in love, waiting for you to become calm enough to see it and courageous enough to walk through it. I know that many times you have told yourself that tomorrow you would change. Tomorrow you would begin. Tomorrow you would say what needed to be said and leave what had been wearing you down. Yet tomorrow became buried beneath new tasks, new worries, and countless reasons that seemed entirely justified. You believed you still had plenty of time, so you continued, overlooking the signs that had repeatedly appeared within your heart. I do not condemn you for this, because I understand that there have been seasons when you were simply trying to survive one day at a time. Yet you cannot continue living as though life will endlessly return the same opportunity in exactly the same form. Some doors appear only after you have reached a certain level of maturity. If you do not move toward them, they do not disappear because I am angry with you, but because time, people, and circumstances continue to move. Therefore, treasure what is being offered to you today, instead of waiting until a distant day to regret that you were not alert enough to recognize it. What I am saying is actually very simple. Be fully present in your own life. Do not give all your attention to the things that make you anxious, and leave only what remains for your dreams, your family, your health, and your peace. Do not let your mind chase every external voice until you can no longer hear what is quietly pleading within you for a moment of stillness. Perhaps you have already sensed that a relationship is no longer healthy, a job is no longer suitable, or a way of living is slowly draining the light from you. You have known this for a long time. Yet, because you fear change, you have tried to call delay patience. My child, patience does not mean remaining forever in a place that continually makes you smaller. Patience is waiting with wisdom, while delay is knowing that you need to move, but continuing to let fear control you. I want you to understand the difference so that you will no longer exchange precious years for a familiar situation that no longer brings peace. You were chosen not because you have never made mistakes, nor because you are stronger than everyone else. You were called because even through your failures, you never stopped searching for what is true. Though you have been disappointed, you still possess the ability to hope. Though you have been misunderstood, you have continued trying to protect your heart from becoming cold. Even on days when no one could see the battle you were fighting, you still rose, continued doing what needed to be done, and refused to let pain turn you into a bitter person. I have seen the tears you hid behind your smile, the nights when you had to comfort yourself, and the moments when you wanted to give up but ultimately chose to take one more step. It was this perseverance that brought you to the threshold where you now stand. Therefore, do not underestimate what you have overcome. but neither allow the past to become a chair in which you remain seated in endless sorrow. Your attention in this season will determine far more than you realize. Whatever you continually look toward will gradually shape your thoughts. What you repeatedly think about will influence your choices, and the small choices you make again and again will form the direction of your entire life. If you nourish fear every day, you will begin to see every opportunity as a danger. If you continue holding within your heart the words others once used to diminish you, you will build limits where no wall ever existed. But if you learn to turn your eyes toward what is good, nurture the abilities I have placed within you, and remain faithful to small and righteous steps, you will gradually see your life changing from within before your external circumstances have even begun to move. I am not asking you to change everything in a single day. I only ask you to stop giving your power to distraction and begin protecting what matters through a discipline that is gentle yet firm. Ask yourself what has continually been calling you back during these past months. Do you need genuine rest instead of continuing to live in exhaustion? Do you need to forgive yourself for an old decision so that you no longer carry shame into new relationships? Do you need to stop chasing recognition from people who see your value only when you serve their desires? Or is there an ability within you that has been neglected for too long simply because you fear others will not understand it? You do not need to answer every question immediately, but you must be honest. Truth may make you uncomfortable for a moment, but avoidance can keep you trapped for years. I want you to choose the discomfort that helps you grow rather than the temporary comfort that slowly causes you to lose yourself. At the same time, do not misunderstand this urgency as pressure to make decisions in panic. What comes from me will not throw your mind into such chaos that you lose the ability to think clearly. I may remind you firmly, but peace will always remain within that reminder. Therefore, become still before you act. Do not believe every promise simply because it appears when you are vulnerable. Do not walk through a door merely because you are afraid that no other door will ever appear. Look at the fruit that the decision may produce. Will it help you live with greater integrity, maturity, and peace? Will it honor your worth, your boundaries, and your responsibilities? A right path may require courage, but it will not demand that you betray your conscience in order to continue walking upon it. I want you to be awake, not impulsive, steady, not rigid, courageous, yet still wise. Perhaps you have long believed that what you are waiting for must arrive through an enormous sign, an event so powerful that every doubt disappears at once. Yet, many important turning points begin in very ordinary moments. It may be the morning when you decide not to postpone an essential task any longer. The day when you stop responding to a conversation that continually wounds you. Or the evening when you put down your phone and truly listen to someone you love. It may also be the first time you say no without feeling guilty. Or the first time you dare to apply for an opportunity you once believed was beyond your ability. Do not despise such small actions. A field does not change in a single night, but every seed planted in the right place quietly prepares the ground for harvest. I also want you to understand that the value of this moment is not found in a written declaration or an outward act meant to prove that you are listening. True agreement is revealed through the way you live after these words have ended. If you recognize something as right, protect it with action. If you realize that change is necessary, begin with the smallest step you can take today. Restore order to a space that has become chaotic. Fulfill a promise you have delayed. Apologize when you know you have hurt someone. Or leave the place where you must continually surrender your dignity in order to remain. These actions may not attract the attention of others, but they will bring your life into greater order. And from that order, good opportunities will finally have room to enter. My beloved child, I am speaking to you, not because you are the only person in the world who has been blessed, but because you have a unique part to fulfill that no one else can live in your place. You possess gifts, experiences, and sensitivity that have been formed through your own journey. When you live with awareness, the goodness within you does not only heal your own life, it also becomes light for others. Someone will recover hope by watching you rise after failure. Someone will learn to establish boundaries after seeing you love, without abandoning yourself. Someone will dare to begin again, because you did not conceal the times when you once fell. Therefore, your growth does not benefit you alone. It also opens a path for people who have been quietly observing you, though you may never have known it. Now let this moment become the point at which you return to yourself. Not a fear that haunts you with the thought that you will lose everything if you do not act quickly enough. I do not stand before you with a threat. I remain beside you with patience. Yet, my patience is not a reason for you to continue delaying what you already know is right. Rise with calmness, choose with wisdom, and walk with trust. You do not need to see the entire road yet. You need only remain faithful to the light you have been given for the next step. Do not turn away from the calling that has returned to your heart so many times. Do not continue making yourself smaller to fit inside a place you have already been led to outgrow. I have seen the strength you do not yet recognize, preserved you through the days when you believed you were alone, and continued leading you toward a more truthful life. Be present, my beloved child, because the turning point you seek does not exist only in what is about to come. It begins in the very moment you decide that you will no longer live carelessly within your own life. Keep your heart steady in this silence, for it is precisely when everything appears motionless that the deepest transformations are quietly being completed. I know the stillness can confuse you, causing you to look around and wonder why no sign has appeared, why the door for which you have prayed remains closed, and why the things you have faithfully continued doing seem to have produced no visible result. But, my beloved child, do not measure the work I am doing by the quietness before your eyes. Some seeds must remain deep within the earth for a long time before a green shoot can rise to meet the light, beneath soil that appears cold and lifeless. Roots are forming, strength is gathering, and a new journey has already begun, even though your eyes cannot yet perceive it. I want you to understand that this period of waiting is not a sign of rejection. Slowness does not mean that you have taken the wrong path. The steps you have made in faith, the decisions you have chosen with integrity, and every time you continued moving forward without receiving a clear explanation, have all created a movement you cannot yet fully recognize. You may believe that you have done only something small, spoken only one honest word, released only one fear, or merely chosen not to return to an old path. Yet within my arrangement, these seemingly small actions may become keys that open a great door. None of your faithfulness is considered insignificant, and no hidden tear has fallen without being treasured by me. There will be moments when doubt approaches very gently. It will not always arrive through an aggressive voice. More often, it will enter through questions that sound reasonable, Have I done enough? Am I already too late? Did the opportunity pass without my noticing it? I remind you not to let such words take root within your heart. You do not need to return and destroy what you have built simply because you have not yet seen an immediate result. Nor must you use anxiety to force what is still being prepared. When a door is being opened at the right time, impatience cannot make it appear sooner. On the contrary, impatience may exhaust you and steal the peace you need in order to recognize it. Therefore, remain still in clear and living trust. Not still because you are powerless, but still because you know that you have placed your portion of the work into my hands. I have seen your endurance during the days when no one knew how hard you were trying. I saw you rise and continue doing what was necessary, even while many questions remained within you. I saw you choose gentleness when circumstances could easily have made you harsh. I saw you refuse to let disappointment turn you bitter. And I watched you resist allowing delays to make you turn away from what was good. These choices have shown that you do not merely desire to receive a blessing. You are also learning to become someone mature enough to preserve that blessing when it arrives. You often focus on what you still do not possess. But I am looking at the person you have become through every day of patient endurance. Therefore, what is coming will not merely be a gift that makes you happy for a short while. It will also confirm that none of the steps you have taken were meaningless. When things gradually become clear, you will understand why certain matters had to be slowed down, why some paths once remained closed, and why you had to learn perseverance in a season when nothing seemed to change. Some things would have confused you if they had arrived too early. But when they come at the right time, they will carry peace. Some opportunities would have caused you to sacrifice too much if they had appeared before you, developed discernment. But now that you have matured, you will know how to receive them without losing yourself. I am not only preparing good things for you, I am also preparing you for those good things. During these days, remain near me with a quiet and sincere heart. Do not search only for outward signs, because sometimes the first sign is the new calmness beginning to form within you. Your circumstances may not yet have changed, but you no longer respond as you once did. The door may not yet have opened, but you have stopped standing before it in fear. The answer may not yet have arrived, but you have begun to trust that you are still being guided, even when you do not understand the entire road. This too is a miracle, for the deepest renewal often begins in a place that no one else can see. When your thinking is cleansed, the way you walk will also change, and new decisions will take you into places that your former anxiety prevented you from entering. I want you to recognize my hand when this movement becomes visible. Do not immediately call it luck, and do not assume that everything merely happened to become easier after a long period of hardship. You will see details connect with remarkable precision. People appear at the right moment. Doors open in ways you could never have arranged. And matters that were once confusing suddenly become understandable. When this happens, remember the nights when you chose trust instead of surrender. The mornings when you continued, even though you felt nothing extraordinary. And the times when you did what was right without receiving praise. All of that faithfulness has helped bring you to this new season. Yet remember that a miracle does not always take the form you imagined. Sometimes what you requested is answered through another path, one that is better but less familiar. Sometimes I do not give you what you wanted to keep, because I am leading you towards something that no longer requires you to diminish yourself. At times, Deliverance appears through a separation, a decisive choice, or a closing door that prevents you from continuing to waste your strength in a place that was never meant for you. Therefore, keep your heart open. Do not look only for what is familiar. Look for peace, clarity, and fruit that will remain good over time. What comes from me will not require you to betray your highest values in order to possess it. While you wait, continue living fully today. Do not postpone joy until every prayer has been answered. Do not believe that your life will begin only when that great thing finally arrives. Every day you are now living is also part of the preparation. Take care of what is already in your hands. Preserve sincere relationships. Complete your work faithfully, and allow yourself to rest when you are tired. Perseverance does not mean that you must always remain tense in order to prove your strength. Sometimes perseverance means knowing how to pause without giving up, how to breathe slowly without losing direction, and how to return the things beyond your ability into my care. My beloved child, I have not forgotten you among the countless prayers lifted toward me. You are not a voice that has disappeared into the distance, nor are you someone standing outside the plan of goodness. I know exactly how far you have come, what you have had to overcome, and what you need in order to enter the next stage of your journey. The empty spaces you see today are not proof of my absence. Sometimes they are spaces I have cleared so that something new may enter. The places that once felt empty will one day be filled with understanding, peace, and a more mature joy. You will not only rejoice because you received an answer, you will also be at peace because you finally understand that you were never left behind. Therefore, do not return to your old fear simply because everything seems quiet. Do not dig up the seed every day to see whether it has begun to grow. Continue watering it with trust, gratitude, and righteous action. When the time arrives, what is hidden will rise into the light by itself. You will see that this silence was not an empty period, but a room in which the miracle was taking shape. You will understand that what you did was not too little, and that your quiet steps were enough to set the wheels of transformation into motion. I am here, nearer than you realize, guarding what you cannot yet guard, and arranging what you cannot arrange. Continue forward without forcing anything. Trust without needing to see everything, and keep your heart tender throughout the waiting. What is coming will not cause you to question, my love. It will help you understand that even during the quietest days, I was always working. When everything finally unfolds, you will look back upon this stillness with gratitude, because you will realize that it was not a time when nothing was happening. It was the time when everything necessary was quietly being placed in its proper position. You were chosen not because you have never been weak or mistaken, but because, even during the days when you could see no way forward, you continued carrying the ability to search for light and refused to stop hoping. I know there have been moments when you wondered why you had to feel everything so deeply, why a small word could remain within your heart for such a long time, and why you could not remain indifferent toward matters that others easily overlooked. You once believed this sensitivity was a burden, but I want you to understand that it is also part of the gift placed within you, because you are moved by pain, because you question what has not yet become clear, and because you search for meaning in chaotic days. You are able to recognize what many people pass by without ever seeing. I did not call you because you had completed every lesson. I called you because you remain willing to grow, because you still dare to open your heart, and because you can continue even when no one stands beside you to offer encouragement. I have seen the battles you never described to anyone. There were mornings when you awoke carrying a silent heaviness. Yet you still tried to fulfill what needed to be done. There were nights when you lay still, facing countless questions alone, while everyone around you believed you were doing well. I know you have often smiled so that others would not worry. Many times, you swallowed your sadness so that you could continue being a source of support for those around you. Not all your victories were visible, nor did every effort receive praise. Yet what human beings fail to recognize does not become worthless. I have seen every time you chose to rise instead of surrender. Every time you kept your heart upright when you had every reason to become bitter. And every time you moved through pain without inflicting pain upon someone else. These quiet choices prepared you for the place where you now stand. This place is not merely a pause along your journey. It is a point of transition that requires you to become more aware than before. There are seasons in life when the most important question is not how quickly you are moving, but where you are directing your attention. What you continually look toward will shape the way you think, and the way you think will influence the decisions ahead. If you focus only on fear, every door may appear to be a threat. If you look only at your failures, you may begin to believe that tomorrow cannot be different from yesterday. But when you learn to observe the small movements of goodness, you will realize that many things are being arranged before the result becomes visible. This is why I am reminding you not to allow external noise to steal the focus you need in this season. For a long time, a gentle invitation has been reaching toward you. It did not come through a great noise or through signs that forced everyone to pay attention. It appeared in moments when you suddenly desired to stop, through a thought that returned repeatedly, and through the feeling that you needed to reconsider a relationship, a decision, or the road you were taking. Sometimes it appeared as a lack of peace when you continued something that no longer suited you. Sometimes it came as an unexpected hope in the middle of a season when you believed all your strength was gone. At other times, I used an ordinary conversation, a door that suddenly closed, or a seemingly small opportunity to turn your eyes towards something greater. But because you had become so accustomed to being busy, you often pushed these impressions aside and promised yourself that you would think about them later. My child, I understand why you have delayed. You are afraid that if you become still, you will have to face what you have avoided for far too long. You fear that you may discover a truth that requires you to change. You are also afraid to place hope in a new direction only to become disappointed again. Therefore, you fill your days with work, unnecessary conversations, and countless things that keep your mind occupied. Yet distraction cannot make what needs to be faced disappear. It only causes you to take longer to return. I am not telling you to rush into every decision, but I want you to stop running from the honest voice within you. What is right does not require you to be impulsive, but it does require you to be honest. You once prayed to see a clear direction. You asked me which door belonged to you, which people should remain, what needed to be released, and which step should be taken next. Yet when the answer began appearing in a form different from what you expected, you hesitated. You believed guidance had to be radiant, that it had to erase every doubt immediately and carry a feeling of absolute certainty. But clarity does not always arrive all at once. Sometimes you are shown only the first step, because seeing the entire road could overwhelm you with the length of the journey. I am not asking you to understand the whole future. I am inviting you to remain faithful to what you already recognize in the present. Do not immediately assume that every feeling is guidance. But neither should you disregard what continually returns with peace and truthfulness. You can discern it by looking at the fruit it produces. A reminder that comes from the light will not make you arrogant, cause you to despise others, or drive you into panicked action. It will lead you toward humility, courage, responsibility, and purity of intention. It may make you uncomfortable at first, because truth sometimes touches places that need correction. But afterward, you will feel a deeper steadiness. By contrast, what is born from fear often pressures you to decide in confusion, steals your peace, and causes you to question your own worth. You have matured enough to begin recognizing this difference. Even though at times you still do not fully trust your own ability, I am teaching you to trust, not by closing your eyes and moving recklessly, but through awareness that is nurtured every day. Give yourself the quiet spaces necessary to observe what is happening. Ask yourself why a thought continues returning, why one path makes you feel more open, and why something that appears good is steadily taking away your peace. You do not need to search for answers in every voice outside yourself. Sometimes the more people you ask, the farther you move from what you already know. Advice can be useful, but no one can live your life for you or accept responsibility for the decisions you make. Therefore, listen with humility, and then consider everything through the wisdom you have been given. This season carries a particular weight, not because something frightening is waiting for you, but because an older version of you is gradually coming to an end. You can no longer live forever through reactions formed by pain. You cannot continue diminishing yourself in order to gain acceptance, nor can you keep postponing the call to maturity because you are afraid to leave what is familiar. The things you once tolerated are beginning to feel heavier because you have awakened to the truth that you deserve a life marked by integrity, peace, and purpose. The discomfort you feel is not necessarily evidence that you are moving in the wrong direction. Sometimes it is proof that you no longer belong in the place that once held you back. Therefore, do not look away simply because what lies before you is not yet completely clear. Keep your attention upon the lesson unfolding in front of you. You may not need to do something dramatic, but you can begin with one sincere action. You can end a habit that has been exhausting you. Speak what must be said with calmness. Restore a boundary that has been crossed, or take time to care for the part within you that has been neglected for far too long. Every small choice that agrees with the truth will bring you closer to where you are being called. Do not despise a short step, because a great journey is not formed through one enormous leap. It is formed through the many times you choose what is right. Even when no one is watching, remain steady. My beloved child, I am speaking directly to you, not because you are the only person who has ever doubted, but because even within your doubt, you have not abandoned your search. You have lived through enough to understand that valuable things rarely appear through display and noise. They grow in silence, are recognized by those who know how to pause, and are preserved by those who know how to treasure them. Remain within this moment. Do not run away. Do not diminish what you are sensing, and do not allow fear to make your decisions for you. Your life is shifting in ways deeper than what your eyes can presently see. And the awareness you choose today will help you recognize tomorrow's step. I am here to support you, guide you, and remind you that you do not need to be perfect in order to deserve guidance. You need only to remain sincere, alert, and willing to follow the light that has been placed before you.